it's interesting how God has given you a toe in both ends of the spectrum,
Yeah.
because you are a fantastic leader.
Thank you.
And that was not because of your management classes. That's
Yeah.
because of you, and that's because of who you are and your character and how much the Lord has blessed you with just incredible knowledge and wisdom and everything. But I mean, also certainly through some of the curriculum, some of it probably stuck in just refining how you see managing people and being a leader.
Yeah.
But then also being able to market to people, which is really looking inside of people and seeing what is the desire of this person, what does this person want, what does this person need, and how can I not just sell them something, right? Because it's not just about the profits and the money, it's always about providing the service and really meeting the needs of people. And I tend to think about of the gospel sometimes, and I might get a little flack for this, of, you got to approach the gospel from a bit of a business mindset where you're thinking,
course.
how do I manage and steward this information? How can I keep myself accountable to literally the greatest message ever given to me? How do I steward that well? How do I manage that? But then also, how do I take the resources that God has given me, his word and his wisdom, and then market that to the world in a way that isn't selly, isn't necessarily showy, but that truly meets the needs of the people who are around me, who may not even be around me? Because the way you've been talking about SEO, the search engine optimization, and the graphic design and internet, you're so right. And I think that's so valuable today because the world's going crazy forward. Crazy forward in terms of technology. And with ministry, if churches and organizations as a whole, just anybody does not keep up with that, if they forget or just lose sight of how to meet people in their needs where they are, then we're going to fall behind. I feel like in a lot of ways we are falling behind, or we're just slower to catch up. There are people who take advantage of the opportunities in front of them way before anyone else, the trendsetter, certainly. And I think for a while the church was the trendsetter in that regard. When you look back at other mediums in the past, the printing press was pretty much the staple piece of the Protestant Reformation, bro. And pamphlet literature, just getting pieces of scripture out to the people in their native language, that was pivotal in just getting the gospel through the Renaissance and through the Middle Ages into the New World and everywhere. And then even through radio and television, you've got guys like Billy Graham, televangelists, whatever you think about, the current state of affairs. Certainly, there were a bunch of people who embraced that medium, that new way of communicating and marketing to people, and did it faithfully and did it well. There are people who do everything poorly, but there are certainly people who took advantage of it and did it well. And there are people now, I think of a couple of churches, and really I've been looking all over at places like Elevation, Passion, Fresh Life, and Hillsong, these bigger names of churches. It's not that they just have millions and millions of followers because they have a worship album on Spotify. It's because they know how to steward the gospel and market it to the needs of the people where they are, which happens to be on Facebook and Instagram and Snapchat and social media. And it's so crazy to me how God is using something that honestly is simultaneously disconnecting us and threatening to do all these kinds of things. People want to play end of the world when it comes to internet sometimes, especially older generations, but God is still using it so faithfully and well to spread his message and to spread his gospel. And I think it truly is a tool that we are yet to fully realize, and somebody's going to realize it. I don't know who it's going to be, but it's going to be something I think bigger and better, and the scale of that ministry is going to trump anything that's ever been done before in the past. But I think with you in particular, it strikes me because you are, I'm trying to say this nicely, like a personality. You're a character, and so it's not only marketing the gospel or a product or a service, but it's marketing yourself and marketing your own personality, your own brand, and you want to be able to, I guess, reflect Jesus through who you are. Because a lot of, there's brand culture now and there's personality culture all over social media, and I think so much of that gets tied back to ourselves, but our whole purpose here is to reflect God and reflect the image of Christ. And if we can do that well through social media, the way, quote unquote, that everybody else is doing it, but in a way that is also set apart, then the world's going to start rocking. And the boat is not going to be able to stay afloat because the gospel is just going to tear people to shreds, bro. And I think I'm just anticipating that to happen. And I don't know when it will, but I'm hopeful that it will. And I know God is so able to do it. I'm just excited to see when,
It's funny you say that about like branding yourself and like branding yourself as a follower of Jesus. I was just talking to my friend about this literally, like an hour and a half ago.
Yeah.
But it's like, if you as a Christian in the business world, not even the business world, as a leader, as a Christian leader, the business world set aside, whatever, you have a brand of yourself, whether you know it or not. Whether you think, oh, I'm just the lowest of low, in this medial job or in this medial position or whatever, or whether you're the CEO of a Fortune 500 company, you yourself have a brand apart from what you do.
Mm-hmm.
I, Caden Braly, I have a brand of who I am as a follower of Jesus, and how I set that example to others is the product or service that I'm providing for other people. Mm-hmm. Because when you see me and I talk to you about Jesus, okay, but you see me, you see my brand of Caden Braly as a follower of Jesus, that's what you think of me. Because when we think of a company branding, like when you think of Coca-Cola, you think of red.
Yeah.
That's branding. That's logo branding right there, okay? When you think of Facebook, you think of F, the blue F. That's logo branding. It's whatever. When you think of Caden, what do you think?
The soft little goatee.
Yeah, the soft little goatee, whatever it may be, whenever I wear my boots around or whatever.
Yeah.
Or do you think of, man, that guy follows Jesus? Yeah. Whenever you think of Cody, what do they think of?
Yeah.
Do they think of what you look like? Which, yeah, that's what we think. We're visual people.
Right.
But I think of, what's their second thought? Is it, dang, that guy follows Jesus. Or is it, oh,
Yeah.
I don't know who that guy is.
Right.
He does all this stuff. He does all this stuff on the weekends. But the worst thing that you can do is provide yourself with a mismarketed brand. If people think of me, oh, dang, that's Caden. He follows Jesus, but I saw him doing this other thing.
Yeah.
Dang, what are they going to think of your product? Jesus. What are they going to think of Jesus when they see you doing this, but you're over here doing this?
Yeah.
Wow, you just mismarketed Jesus. Or what if they think the opposite of, even though, dang, I see Caden over here, he's following Jesus. You just made a gospel presentation right there. If they know that you're a Christian, they see you living out this life different from everyone else over here, you just provided them with a good marketing technique for Jesus. You just provided them with the gospel.